Alright, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahilladzi hadana lihadza wa ma kunna linahtadiya laula an hadanallah wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi washabbihi ajma'in. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim wa la hawla wa la quwwata illa billahil aliyyil azim. Alhamdulillah. We thank Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala for all the blessings and the mercy that Allah has showered upon us. For it is by His grace that we are able to be here to meet you online today, inshallah. And for this session, I would like to have everyone to actually turn on your webcams and mute your microphones to make this session a lot livelier and more interactive. And in case of any questions or queries, you can use the chat window to share your views. And you can also ask your questions to our guest speaker using the chat box, or you can ask our speaker directly via the video stream. First of all, on behalf of the Kuliah of Education Student Association, KEPSA, I would like to express our gratitude to everyone for joining us in this session, and we hope this session will benefit every one of you in every possible way, inshallah. And don't forget to follow our social media platform so you won't miss any updates regarding the session. And now, let me introduce myself. I'm a bit nervous today. I'm not sure why, but I will try my best to be a good host today. And I am Nur Atika Binti Asnan. You can call me Atika. I am a first year postgraduate student, currently doing a full-time Master of Education TESOL. I am a member of KEPSA and currently your moderator for today's session. Our topic today is writing a research proposal. And before we begin, let me briefly introduce our speaker, Associate Professor Dr. Faizah Idrus. And for your information, if you are new here and if you are teachers, actually Dr. Faizah first started her career as an English teacher for 5 years before joining the Center for Languages, the International Islamic University IIUM, as a lecturer in 1998. And upon the completion of her PhD, she joined the Kuliah of Education and currently teaching the undergraduate and postgraduate courses in COED, which is the Faculty of Kuliah of Education for TESOL program. And she also supervises master students and currently have like around 10 PhD students at this moment. Okay, in regards to research, I would like to share some more trivia information. In 2007, she has won a medal for the most promising researcher in CELPAD. Dr. Faizah also was the head of research, Kuliah of Education, from 2015 to 2017 and has a lot of grants registered under her name. With this, let's welcome Dr. Faizah Idrus, and I can't wait to listen to your input on this topic. The floor is yours. فليتفضل مشكورا.
Thank you, Sister Atika. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good morning, everyone. And it's a wonderful morning, a wonderful Jum'ah, and hopefully we are going to have a blessed, inshallah, a blessed Ramadan soon, in 2 days' time. So today I was tasked to talk about or to discuss. I think it's better for us to discuss if you have any questions later on how to prepare and write a good research proposal. And this research proposal is meant to be used either you are in your master's degree to prepare. It's a little bit more extended than the one that you give to the CPS when you want to apply. So maybe it is also applied for those PhD students who are going to have their defense. Yeah, those who are doing by research only, whether you're masters or PhD students, you have to defend your proposals, right? So, inshallah, you can use uh, some tips of from what I'm going to share with you, and prepare your own effective research proposal. So let me start. Okay, with, don't waste time. Okay, okay. I hope you can see my screen, everyone. Can you see my screen right now?
Yes,
Yes.
very
Okay,
Can,
clearly.
can, can.
good,
Yes,
excellent.
clear.
Right, so we don't waste time. I'm going to give some input and then later we discuss. All right, so it's better that we discuss so that you can learn better, and probably you have some questions that you need clarifications. All right, so what is a research proposal? So you know that. Okay. So research proposal is a statement of intent, not like a statement, but a different kuliah will have different requirement of how long you are going to write your research proposal. All right. But of course, for those who are doing research proposal, to be accepted in, for example, in a university, or you are going to write a research proposal for your defense, you are going to write your research proposal for whatever purpose. All right. So that is the statement of intent, your intention. All right. But when we say intention, we have to identify, or we have to know what our intention is. Okay, for now, most of you probably your intention is to get your proposal approved. All right. So especially those who are going to be defending, yeah, defending their proposal in their second semester, or for PhD students, they are going to defend before going on to collect their data. All right. So academically prepared to complete a research. Okay. So before, even if you are you are a full-fledged academic, a lecturer, you want to apply for grant, or if you want to apply for anything, you have to have a proposal. Even for a small, like applying for funding, you have to have a proposal. So that is a statement of intent, right? So, of course, when you write your proposal, you always have to have the person or the audience in your mind who will be reading your proposal. So this is something that many students have failed to think about, right? So when you prepare your proposal, first of all, you have to identify, okay, the person who, or the people who are going to read my proposal will be, number one, my supervisors, my co-supervisors, if you have, and most importantly, your examiners. Okay, so those who are going to defend your proposal, they are going to also present in front of internal and external examiners, depending on how your kuliah has put the requirement. All right, so those are your audience. And a research proposal is your plan. Just now is a statement of intent, and moving forward, it is actually a plan, right? So what is your plan? So those who are going to be reading your proposal would want to know, okay, what your plan is and how you are going to execute your plan. So they want to know whether your plan is a good plan, or whether your plan is too ambitious, or your plan is below par, right? So that is why the examiners are there. So it describes in detail your study. Okay, we are going to go into detail afterwards. Decisions about your study are based on the quality of the proposal. Yes, of course. And the examiners, your internal and your external examiner, will then identify whether your proposal is good to go. When it says your proposal is good to go, meaning you have passed and you can move forward. And then if your proposal is, let's say they say you have to make amendments, then which means that there are something lacking in that proposal that you have to amend so that you will be able to continue to the next step. Now, approvals to proceed by the institutional review board. So this is the people at the postgraduate office and also your internal and external examiner. Okay, why is it important? All right. So research proposal, just now it was a statement. I have mentioned it was a statement, and then it is a plan, and also it is a contract between you and your committee. This committee here is either your if you're a PhD candidate or PhD student, you have your main supervisor, you have at least two other co-supervisors. All right. So this is actually a contract between you and your committee. So you plan to do this. So when you have planned and the plan has been approved, you cannot change the plan totally. But I will tell you about changing the plan a little. Okay. So this is just a plan. So when we say it's a plan, it is bound to change. But that changes, there must be certain amount, certain percentage that you can change and you cannot change. All right. So be wary of that. All right. About how much you can change after your proposal has been approved. Now, it serves to protect the students demanding additional requirement. So let's say you have your proposal has been approved and whatever plan that has been approved, and suddenly someone, let's say from your committee, will ask you to do things that are outside of the plan, something totally different. Then you can go back to your plan because this plan serves as a contract between you and your committee. All right. So it doesn't mean that you can decline or you can refuse the advice from your committee. No. As long as it is within the boundaries of your proposal, as a student, you have to take heed of the advice from the especially your supervisor, right? But then if something is added outside your ability to do outside your plan, then you can always say this is not the contract that we have at the beginning. Always you have to stand for your right. You as a student, you have your right. I'm telling you now, right? And then it protects the committee from the student. All right, okay. So vice versa, right? If you have a plan and that plan has been approved and suddenly you found, this is always the case. As you go along, as you read, you will find a lot more interesting things that come to you. And you think that, oh, this is something good and I think I can do this and this is related to what I'm doing. But in actual fact, it is not. Then the committee will have the right to deny, meaning you have to stick to your proposal unless you have a good justification of why you want to slightly change the plan. Okay. Now, protect the committee from the student from delivering a degree of poor quality. That's why we have the proposal. Okay. We do not want to have suddenly somebody's claim that I have been awarded master's degree from so and so, but you cannot see work there. So it's something that is disputable, right? So that's why we have the proposal, and this proposal is actually recorded, right? Meaning it not recorded in terms of recording, but it is recorded in the postgraduate office that so and so has already submitted the proposal and so has been submitted to defend their proposal. Okay, so all your journey from the start until the end will be recorded by your postgraduate office. Okay, because apart from the eye monitor that they have, you have the eye viva, and you have a lot more things that the postgraduate office can detect where you are, and which level you are at. All right. So unless you go MIA, then that is something different. You go MIA without informing, then that is something different. All right. So going back to our research proposal. Okay, what are the essential ingredients? Why this it says ingredient? You must have the correct ingredient to make your research proposal an effective and a communicative one. Right? So we don't want to have a lot of salt. It becomes salty. So when it becomes salty, it's not pleasant on the tongue. So that is the you know we refer something like that to your proposal, something that is tasty, something that is very pleasant to the. When it says very pleasant to the tongue, it means pleasant to be read, and it's good to it's a good plan basically. Okay, so one of the main ingredient for your proposal is the issue. Okay, if you don't have any issue, oh, I don't have any issue with my study, then that is different. I don't have any problem, then that is not research, because you are doing research because you have encountered problems or a problem that you think is worth looking at, and worth looking at the how you are going to solve that problem. All right. So if there is no problem, there is no research. So quite a number of students that I have supervised, they have a very good plan, but there is no issue. There is no problem. I said, what is the problem? The problem is I want to propose something. Okay, that's good. That can be a start. You want to propose something because there is an issue. You want to propose something new, or to refine something because the existing one probably is insufficient, it's not good, it's not up to the standard. There must be something that you have encountered that brings you to this issue. Okay, so what problem does your research address? So that afterwards we are going to listen to a few of you to identify what the issue is, right? In your own research. Then, once you have got the issue and and you know what to do with that, then you have to have your research design. Research design is in chapter 3, your methodology. And by the way, for you to enable you to submit a good research proposal, you have to have the 3 full chapters: chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. Chapter 1 is their introduction, and where the problem statement is, where your RO, your research objectives, research questions, your limitations, and if you want to have their limitation there, and then your terms of reference and all that. And if you want to have your theoretical or conceptual framework, that can be also accepted in chapter 1. And then we go on to chapter 2 is your literature review. We will talk a bit on literature review afterwards. And chapter 3, I think this is the most important chapter. All right, most important chapter, because if anything wrong with chapter 3, then the whole thing will fall down. I mean, the whole thing will collapse. Right? So research design is the heart, not research design. The chapter 3, your research methodology, is the heart of your proposal. Okay. Moving on, we have the benefit. Who will what will the research contribute? So this is the why this is important, why this research is important. Probably those of you who are, given scholarship, you have presented this. Okay, you have presented this in front of the committee, and they feel that your research is good. That's why they award you with that scholarship. So, what will those who of you who are doing it on your own? There must be some benefit to you and the stakeholder, although the stakeholder probably is not in the picture now, but those of you who are embarking your research on your own, there must be reasons. Okay, what is the benefit of, okay, the benefit to you will, you will be getting your degrees, so and so on later on, and you will be using it to ask for higher place in wherever that you are working, right? So the benefit must serve the community. That's why you are doing this master's or PhD degree, because you want to contribute back to the community. Okay. So research proposals make you outline. Okay. This is an outline and the steps of your proposed research. Okay. Provide yourself with intellectual content. Okay, that we are going to discuss in a bit. You have to be creative. You have to justify your research. Okay, all the steps that you are going to be making in your proposal will have to be justified. And think through your, whether it's an experiment, whether it's a case study, whatever method and approaches that you use, you have to think it through. And of course, with the help or with the advice of your supervisors and co-supervisors. And of course, with that plan, you can anticipate potential problems, whether in the data collection. Now that we are allowed to go out and collect data, I think it is a blessing, right? It is a blessing that we can go to the field ourselves. We don't have to only collect data via Google Meet or via Zoom, which I think is quite sad, because you cannot see, if you are interviewing, it's very important to look at the gestures, to look at the facial expression in person. That will serve you better. It can give you better input of the person who are going to give you information, right? So now you are going to anticipate what problems you might be facing in future, right? And anticipate a realistic timetable. I always advise my supervisors to have a timeline. Okay, whether I will ask them first thing, and my supervisors know this. You want to do your PhD or master's in 10 years, or you want to do it within 2 years, or for PhD 3 years, right? Even for master's to the student, you can complete in 1.5 if you put your heart into it and you follow your plan. So that's why the timeline, your timetable is very important. Every time when I have supervision with my students, I will ask, okay, where are we at? Where are we? I'm not saying that where are you, because you and your supervisor are in it. So where are we now? Are we okay with the timeline? Are we ahead of time, or are we behind time? This is very important. So that's why it's very important to always communicate with your supervisor. Okay, so I'm going to go through all of this, the problem statement, the objectives, and all. But do you have any question for me now, before I start with
Yeah.
the objective? Do you have
Any
any question
question?
as
You
we
can
go along?
simply type it out. in the chat box, or you can ask directly to Madam.
Okay, any question? But I cannot see your chat box, huh? Atika, if there is any,
Oh, there is
you
a chat
can read
box.
it to me.
Oh, doctor, you cannot see, yeah?
No, I cannot see because I am with this one. I cannot see.
Okay,
I can only see my PowerPoint.
okay, I do have two questions here. I will read this out to you. From Nor Azwani Mokhtar.
Okay.
Doctor, from the date of proposal for approval to proposal defense session, what is the advisable duration for us to prepare?
Okay. From the day you submit your proposal and to wait for your defense, right? That
Yeah,
is the question, right? And what is the best thing to do during that time?
exactly.
Okay, right. Okay. So I think quite a number of you, quite a lot of you will have the same question. So now I have submitted my proposal and I am waiting for the date of the vive of for defense, right? Okay. Hmm? Okay, everyone okay there? I cannot see you, I
Yeah,
can only hear you. Okay. So you have submitted a proposal and that proposal has been discussed with your supervisor and hopefully inshallah the proposal the defense will go through nicely.
sorry.
Somebody is talking there.
Yeah, I just muted.
Okay, all right, okay. Now, like I said, you have got your plan, you have communicated, you have discussed with your
Dr. Faiza, I cannot hear you.
Ma'am,
right.
you're muted.
Yeah, okay.
We lost
Probably
you just
it
now.
has been hacked.
Yeah, just block them. Block them.
Okay.
All right, you can hear me now, right?
Yeah, can we have that repeated? Because we lost you for like a minute just now.
Okay. I think I was. Oh my God.
And Allahu Akbar.
Astaghfirullah. I'm so sorry for this one. Um, how can I remove this one?
And I think we have to stop with this particular address. And
Yes.
Yeah, we have to. Yeah,
yeah,
Just
Atika,
remove
you
the
have
create
participant.
to.
another one. Create another
Yeah,
one.
create a new one, and then
Okay,
we all can come back.
I
There are
leave
40.
now.
Oh,
Yeah,
I have to
everybody
make
leave
leave.
now
All right.
okay.
and create a new one, and then send it to us. Yeah. Thank
Create
you.
a
I'm
new
so sorry
Google
about
Meet
that.
link. This is interesting. What an interesting experience.
Maybe
Oh.
can do a research on this, hackers in Google Meet.
I pula first time. This is my first time hosting this thing.
Tengok nama-nama pelik-pelik tu you just block.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So the question was just now from I think from who was it?
I'm gonna
From
check.
Nur Azwani, eh? From Nur Azwani, and Nur Azwani asked me what should I do while waiting for my defense. Yeah, Azwani?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
I will read.
doctor. I'm listening.
Right. Okay. So now it all depends on how long the duration of waiting. Right. So normally it should be
Kalabokah.
block this one, please.
I will block this one.
Block him.
I'll block. So,
Right. So normally, it should be more than 1 month. That is the least, yeah. Because different in IIUM or in other institutions as well, if you are doing research, if you're doing full research, you have to defend, right? And then the defense sometimes is within the committee or within the academic from that faculty, or if it's in if it's from your from Kuliah of Education here in IIUM, the procedure is we have to have one external examiner from other university, one internal examiner from the same Kuliah. All right. And then the PG office. Okay. So, all right. Okay. So, like I said, when you are engaging with external examiner, that will take a lot more time. All right. Sometimes even 2 months. So what are you going to do when what are you going to What are you going to do during the waiting time? Okay, don't be dormant. There are so many things to do. First, like I said, when your proposal has been submitted, it means that
Ada tuh.
okay, we have to be sabar on a Friday. It's okay, right? Which means you have agreed, your supervisor agreed that proposal is okay. Number one, you can do your pilot study. Whether it's a piloting the instrument or piloting the study, it all depends on what you have written in your proposal. Sometimes when during the proposal defense, the examiner will ask you, have you done your piloting the instrument or piloting the study? So that can be done, right? If you have done, or if you have put in your proposal the piloting the instrument, then what you can do is to carry on with your data collection, the easiest one first. All right, let's say you are doing you are collecting you are doing a survey. You can start distributing your survey. So especially in the proposal defense, examiners are really keen to know whether you have started your data collection. You cannot say that you have started. Why? Because your plan is not approved yet. Okay, so what we want we do not want to waste time. We do not want to waste time. You have to carry on, whether doing your literature review or you have to start collecting your data. So that is my advice. So let me continue with my presentation just now, and I will take more questions afterwards. Yeah. Okay, so like I said, we have 3 chapters. Yeah, chapter 1, chapter 2, and chapter 3. So this is universal, right? For a academic proposal, this is universal. You have to have these 3 chapters. All right. I think I'm going to wait. Hang on a minute. I think I'm going to go straight to this one here. Right, chapter 1. Right. So. And then students will ask me, how long should should the proposal be? This one I cannot answer, right? It all depends because different, especially if you are in the sciences, if you are in the social sciences, it's different. Again, if you are in the humanities and social sciences, it all depends on the requirement of your kuliah or your faculty, right? Here at the Kuliah of Education, a PhD student who is going to send in their proposal will have to fulfill the 100 pages proposal. 100 pages proposal, which means it is an extended proposal. Right, so for masters is about half of that, 50 to 60 pages. So 50 to 60 pages are not your appendices will not be included. Probably your references are okay. I'm not too sure about that. So it means that if you are doing full research, you have to have a very comprehensive proposal. But if you are a directed research student, it should be about 30 pages only, excluding your references and appendices. All right? So you have to know what mode you are. I hope everybody knows what mode they are, whether they are coursework, they are doing full research. This is very important because we do not want the postgraduate office to return your proposal because you did not meet the requirement. Okay, so now we go on to chapter 1. So what is chapter 1? Chapter 1 is the introduction, is the window to your research. It is a window to your research. So now you have a title, and of course that title has been approved in the department, and it has been discussed with you. So your title is okay. Now, what should I write first in chapter 1? This one can vary. All right. So, but most importantly, what you are going to write, you are going to write the background of the title. Right? So you have a title. Look at your title. What are the important keywords from your title? That important keywords should be introduced in chapter 1. Okay? It should be introduced in chapter 1. When you say introduction, you don't have to go at length. It is wise for you to introduce, and then if you want to have a more detailed, a greater discussion on that topic, you can signpost it to your chapter 2. For example, if you say this issue or whatever topic or whatever title, whatever keyword that you have used will be discussed at greater length in chapter 2. So that is the meaning of signposting. Signposting in research is very important so that you don't repeat things all the time. Okay? Right? Okay, moving on. That is the background of the title. You're going to write it. What is currently happening around the topic of interest? So you have your topic, and your topic is very interesting. And what is currently happening on and about your topic? What has been discussed about the topic and what is currently happening? Because we want to stay relevant. Why have you chosen this topic? Because this topic is still relevant now at this time. All right. So what is happening now? And what is the issue now? And why are you interested in this topic? Okay. So what drives you? What drives you to actually pick this topic to be your your research interest? Something like that. You can write it in one paragraph. It's enough. Why you want to explain why this topic is important, right? Now, after you have done a little bit of background to your topic, say about a page and a half, then you go on to your problem statement, which is very important. Okay? Problem statement is important. Like I said before, if you don't have a problem, you don't have research. All right? So, now you have introduced the background of your topic, the current situation. Then maybe you can relate the current situation to the problem. Okay, I'm going to just take an example of one. I have to give credit to my master student. She is Ome. Okay, but Ome is not here today. But I'm taking this as an example. She is doing on emotional intelligence and teaches, I think, stress, something like that. So this is her problem. So it says here, existing literatures emphasize more on students' dimensions, such as social needs, well-being, students, but little attention is paid to ESL teachers' emotion. So that here, little attention is paid to ESL teachers' emotion. So that is a claim, all right? This is what the student is claiming, that very little attention is paid to teachers' emotion. Is that true? If it is true, then you have to give evidence. Who said that? Because that is a big claim, saying that it's always about the students' stress, students' emotion, the students' well-being. But what about the teachers? And working perception during professional practice that can lead to an imbalance interpersonal intelligence, burnout, and control. So the student has actually quoted from Gusliakova, 2020. So this is important because, you know why? This is very current it is only in 2020, which means it's still going on. All right. So you are saying this because someone has researched saying that little attention has been given to teachers' emotion and teachers' well-being. All right. But this one has been said by this researcher. Right. So the student went on to say, hence, the stress from the workload factor is the main point why the researcher needs to examine the level of EQ of the ESL teachers. So for your information, I have cut and paste. There are more to this. The problem statement has been described in more detail here. But what I have shown you here is just a snippet. Okay, I have cut and paste. So I'm saying that when you have a problem statement, you want to write a statement, you know that there is a problem. Okay, who else is having the same problem? It's very important. Is that only you that is facing that problem, that you want to solve that problem? So if it's only you, then there is no evidence that that is actually a problem. The problem may be you, all right? So we don't want that. So we want to know who else is having the same problem. So that's why in your problem statement section, you have to have this evidence of someone else is saying that this is a problem. Okay? Right? So from that problem, you are going to say that, okay, look, there is a problem here. So this is what I want to do. Right? So I want to actually look at teachers' well-being, teachers' emotional intelligence, and due to work stress and also workload. Right? Okay? So I hope it is clear for the problem statement. If you are still unsure, you can ask me afterwards. All right. So after the problem statement, okay, you are going to write your purpose of the study. Hence, the purpose of this study is to. So your purpose is a general purpose because a specific purpose will be your objectives. How many objective? How many research question? So if you are doing quantitative design, you have the research hypothesis. If you have a mixed method, then you have hypothesis and then you have your assumption. And in qualitative, we don't have assumption and hypothesis. We can have only statements, right? And then this is still in chapter 1, yeah, people? Okay, so once you have written all this down, you are going to write the significance of the study. Okay, delimitation. So what is the difference between limitation and delimitation? Okay, delimitation, can you control or can't you control? Anybody can tell me? I think I can see some of my students there. Can someone tell me the difference of limitation and delimitation of the study? Azhar, are you there, please? Azhar?
Alhamdulillah, now I'm in the right link. Thank you.
Okay, good. Can you explain and tell the rest what it means by limitation and delimitation?
Okay. Limitation of the study is at the end of the study. Delimitation is what we anticipate. I hope my answer is correct. Delimitation is what we know that we can't do. It's within our scope. Outside of the scope is delimitation. Limitation of the study is at the end in chapter 5 when we just cannot do it due to so many challenges. That is limitation of the study. Delimitation means we know it is not within our scope. That's why we are not going to venture into that.
Okay, so meaning that limitation you can control or you can't control.
Limitation we cannot control. Delimitation we purposely do not want to do it due to the scope of the study.
Right. So what Azhar means by limitation you can control is something like, for example, you are given 3 months. You are given 3 months, for example, to collect your data. But then you tell yourself that I'm going to give myself a bit more time. Or let's say that is time constraint. Time constraint. Can you control time? Can you control time or not?
Cannot.
You cannot. So is that limitation or delimitation?
Limitation.
Okay. So I know that you are hesitating, right? So limitation is something that we can or cannot control.
Cannot control.
All right. So you cannot control limitation. For example, money. All right. For example, your let's say you have a scholarship, right? You are getting an award, a scholarship, and you are given only 3 months to collect your data, right? So you cannot go beyond that. If you go beyond that, then which means you have to extend your study. So you cannot get a lot more data, because probably if you get more data, your study will be more concrete. It will be can be substantiate, right? Because of this limitation, you are not able to do it. Okay, delimitation is you can control. What are the things that you can control? For example, give me an example of the things that you can control. You can choose. For example, you are going out to school and collect your data from students, for example, for those who are in education. So you can actually control which school you want to go. So that is limitation, delimitation, right? Okay. Okay. I hope I am not confusing you with all this, but I want you to go back. Maybe after this, Google limitation and delimitation of the study. So in the proposal, in chapter 1, I want you to write only one, either limitation or delimitation. Why? Because in a proposal, we do not want to highlight a lot of the shortcomings of the study. You know what I mean or not? So if you put delimitation there, limitation there, you can see a lot of setback. So maybe one delimitation in the introduction chapter, limitation in chapter 5, for example. Chapter 5 is your concluding chapter. All right? Okay, so one of this should be, but it's not compulsory, should be, not compulsory, be written in chapter 1. Okay, and then once you have done that, then it goes, you can start writing. If you are not putting your conceptual framework in chapter 1, you want to put it in chapter 2, okay, no problem. Then you go on to the definition of terms or terms of references. Okay, terms of references are the specific words that you use, okay, that will not be understood by a layman. Okay, so for example, if your study is on something and you go and ask your friend who is not in your area to read, would that person understand without reading the terms of definition? So whatever specific term, even ESL, for those who are in education in TESOL, even if you use ESL, EFL, that should also be in definition of terms, because you think everybody knows ESL, English as a second language, but not everyone knows. And you know, once you have submitted your thesis or your dissertation, it will be online. The whole world will be reading it, right? So not everybody understands what EFL and ESL means. So in your definition of terms, any specific jargon must be explained, right? Okay. Moving on. Okay, I don't want to do literature review yet. Where is the... sorry about this. Okay, problem statement, definition of terms. Okay, right. So once you have finished definition of terms, so for me, personally, I would love my students to end a chapter with a conclusion of that specific chapter. So you can write, this chapter has discussed about what. So that is a concluding paragraph of each chapter, and it also serves as continuity to the next chapter. The next chapter will discuss about what. So that is the concluding remark or concluding paragraph for each chapter. Okay, now, so once this is done, we go on to chapter 2, which is the literature review. Okay, so literature review. Again, students will ask me, how much or how many pages should I write my literature review? I have no answer to that. Why? Because in your literature review, you are going to discuss on what is happening around the topic of interest, what has been written, what has been found. And of course, your literature review should not go beyond, not go beyond. It should be current, 5 years and above, unless you are discussing about a theory, a classic theory. For example, Vygotsky, or you want to look at, for example, John Locke, a philosophy, John Locke, or you want to look at something else, which you think that it is important to discuss in literature review. Now, those who are doing PhD, even those who are doing masters by research only, you have to have the philosophy behind whatever that you are doing. Okay, so that's why PhD is, doctor of philosophy, and I don't see any things that related to the philosophy underpinning your study. So what is the theory? Who came out with that theory? Why is it important to your research? It has to be discussed, and how it is relevant now. For example, if you use the theory by, let's say, Bandura, for example, social cultural theory. Okay, Bandura, 1980 something. So 1980 something, that is way back, right? So why is it social cultural theory is important to your study? And then you put the Bandura's theory and then relate to what you are going to be doing. That it is called the underpinning theory of your study. But most importantly, you have to do your literature review looking at what has been done, because you are going to also look at the gap, what has not been done. Okay, so you are going to look at the gap. Yeah, I forgot to also mention, when you do your significance of your study in chapter 1, you are going to look at your the gap. What has not been done? So the gap is important, so that you are not duplicating, or you are not doing a study that has been done time and time again. We want to know what angle. It can be the same topic, but you are looking at different angle. Okay. So similarly to your literature review, what has been said and what has not been said. Okay, so literature supports your hypothesis or your topic, your RQs, your ROs. It extends your previous work that has been done, and then it avoids previous mistakes. For example, okay, if you have read a dissertation or PhD thesis, at the end they will say, okay, if someone wants to continue this work, that person should be doing this. Look at that thesis. Look at chapter 5. What is the suggested steps or suggested area to be followed, to be taken through? Okay, so that is a good platform to how you are going to take it up from where the thesis that you have read, to extend the work of that. All right. So maybe in that thesis, the person has limitation and delimitation. So that is important. So it's not mistakes, but maybe that a limitation that the person cannot do that, so you can do it. It's unique to previously followed path. So this is the different angle that you are taking. All right. So I cannot say that for masters by research, you have to have 20 pages of literature review. I cannot say that, because it all depends on what you are going to write, what is your objective, what is the gap, and of course it cannot be very little. It cannot be very brief. It has to be an extended literature. Okay, extended literature. Unless you are doing directed research, then you don't have much space to write. You can only write about 10 to 15 pages of literature review only, right? But those who are doing bio research, you have to do extended literature review. Okay, right. Okay, this one I'm not going to. Okay, never mind. A narrative of good literature, what the reader knows and what the reader doesn't know. Okay, it's like a funnel. It's like a funnel, yeah? Okay. Introduce the field. What is your broad focus? What is the specific focus? Okay, I'm going to quickly... okay. Let's say, just now, I'm going back to my students' work. The hypothesis of the study is on emotional intelligence. So there has been quite numerous things written about emotional intelligence. Teachers' emotional intelligence, for example. So what is workload? How is managing stress? All this must be discussed in your literature review. Why? Because you have all these keywords in either your introduction or your problem statement or in your ROs, RQs. Okay, so that's why in your literature review, you have to discuss all this. All right, but of course with an extension to it. Okay. Of course, you doing literature review, you have to use books and journals and what have you. Okay, and of course you are going to use what is online, because it is really helpful. If you know how to use EndNote or you know how to use Mendeley, our Mendeley expert is here. Sister Nur Azza is an expert in Mendeley. You can maybe Kapsa can also do a session on Mendeley. Yeah, Kapsa, Atika, you can invite Sister Azza. She is an expert in Mendeley. How you can actually do Mendeley. Mendeley can help you with your resourcing and referencing and all that. Okay. Okay. Peer review article, current literature review versus primary literature and all that. Books, very important. You have to read. Postgraduate study is about reading. You don't read, you don't gain. All right. So don't tell me, oh, I'm going to just pick and choose. No, you cannot pick and choose. This is not a supermarket that you can choose anything. I like this, I like that. No, you have to read. Okay. So why, when you read, you will be able to write better. This is from experience. Yeah, this is from my own experience. The more you read, and then you tend to write more. And the idea, the flow is automatic if you read a lot. It is difficult to read when you don't have any idea, because when you read, when you don't understand what you're reading. Okay, so that's why sometimes you have writer's block. Okay, so this is when I think when you use all this EndNote and Mendeley and other software, you can actually keep all this information, right? So where do I get, if you want to go back to the journal, to the piece of article that you that you have kept, you go to the to your software Mandalay, or if you are using Atlas TI, so you can get all this information. Okay. Right. Do I have chapter 3? Let me see. Chapter 3. Okay. Right. Plagiarism. Reference immediately after mentioning. Right. So plagiarism is a crime. Right. So what do I mean crime? If you are taking someone's idea, all right, it's not your own idea, even if it's not written, in a sentence, but the idea comes from someone, you have to reference, you have to cite. Okay. So if you don't do that, you are committing plagiarism. Okay. So always identify source, because later on, before you actually submit your proposal, you will be asked to also submit turn it in result. Turn it in result will tell the reader, or tell your supervisor or the examiners, that how many percentage it is similar from the ones available. Okay, so you can summarize useful points also. Okay. Now, like I said, the heart of your chapter is the methodology chapter, right? So whether you have to decide whether you are going to do a qualitative study, quantitative study, a mixed method, decide. All right. So once you have decided and discussed with your supervisor that that is the research design that you are going to undertake, then make sure that you understand. You have to understand what the research design is. Okay. So we want the methodology is telling the reader whether your plan is viable or not. Okay. Instrumentation, infrastructure, study groups, access to sample and data. I'm going to give you, okay, this is better, I think. So, like I said, it depends on what your supervisor wants, but for me, I would like everyone to start your each chapter with an introduction to the chapter. So you write an introduction to the chapter and what the chapter will be about. Okay, remember this is a proposal, so you are going to write the model auxiliary that you are going to be doing will be in future, will be, okay, could be, right? So once your proposal is approved and you want to write your thesis proper, make sure you change the grammar. You change the future tense to either present tense or whatever, whichever tense that you think is possible there, right? So I would like my students to start chapter 3 with an introduction. This chapter is about what? What will it tell the reader? All right, and then you go on to your research design. Okay, what is your design? What is design? What is approach? You have to know. Okay, your research design, probably you are going to undertake a qualitative research, qualitative study, employing what? Employing a case study, for example. So you have to actually write what is research design a little bit, although everybody knows what research design is. Just write so that we know that you know, all right? This is a research design is so and so said research design is what. Then what is the approach that you have undertaken, you want to take, right? So the researcher, remember the voice, yeah? Whether you want to write it in the third person, the researcher. But for qualitative proposal, you can use first person, I. You can use, but not quantitative, yeah? Right. So what is the approach that you are going to use? Write a little bit about the approach and why that approach is appropriate or suitable for your research. All this must be justified. Okay, so research paradigm. So what is research paradigm? Paradigm is the worldview that you as a researcher, okay, for example, you are sorry, you are a qualitative person. You want to do a qualitative study, right? So you want to use constructivism. Okay, constructivism is one of the many paradigms. You have the constructivism, you have the positivism, you have post-structuralism, all that, all right? But you have to read. So normally, a qualitative will do a constructivism or constructionism, all right? As opposed to those who are doing a mixed method or quantitative, they have positivism or post-positivism and so on. If you are doing a mixed method, then you have to have, what are you? Okay, you are telling the reader, I believe, for a qualitative, for example, I believe that new knowledge can be constructed when two persons interact, when there is communication. When new communication is done, new knowledge will be created. Okay, that is something, a very superficial understanding of constructivism. All right. So, what is your worldview of your of you as a researcher? So that is actually the paradigm. Okay. Okay. Once you are done with paradigm, okay, then you tell us what is the setting of the research. Where will it take? Where will the research be set? Whether in schools or whether it's in a lab, whether it's where is the setting, right? So the setting will also tell the reader whether your research will be done in Malaysia, in Kuala Lumpur, in Kelantan, or in other parts of the world. So that is the setting, right? And of course, you have to justify why have you chosen the setting, right? And then after that, sample and population. Sample, okay, who are your target respondent? Why have you chosen them? What is the population that you are going to, for example, population when you are doing questionnaire, your population, whether you are going to take the whole thing, the whole population of, let's say, secondary students in Gombak, for example, and what? So you have also when you do when you write population, there must be something like a population count, sample count, all right? Okay, and then you have what is your sampling technique? Sampling technique, if you are doing, what are some of the sampling technique? You have the snowball sampling, you have purposive, you have convenient sampling, and what have you. All right. So look and read the sampling technique, whether that sampling technique is actually suitable to your design. It has to be appropriate and suitable, yeah? What are your instrumentation? Whether you are going to use self-constructed questionnaire or already established questionnaire, or you want to use a semi-structured interview, you want to use observation, you want to use images, you want to use the videos, all that. So those are your instruments. Okay, and then once you have identified the instrument, you are going to plan. You either can plan of piloting the instrument in the proposal, or you can pilot the instrument already before submitting. You can do either one. Okay, you can plan to pilot. I want to pilot my semi-structured interview with how many people, for example. Okay, all right. So yes.
Sorry, there are questions. Do you want to accept the question?
Yeah. You can. Can you read out the question for me, please?
Okay, we have 4 questions.
Okay.
All right. Okay, we start with No Azwani. Does a student need to prepare a pilot study at the proposal defense session.
Yeah, that's what I said just now. This is a plan. You don't have to necessarily carry out the piloting yet, or you can do so. Because piloting, let's say something wrong, something is not right to the examiner. Maybe the population is not right, or maybe your sampling technique is, maybe they are not satisfied with your sampling technique. Then you can always pilot it later. Right, so that is why you can plan for piloting the instrument, not piloting the study yet, piloting the instrument, so that once the examiner they are satisfied, they agree with what you are writing, then you can do your pilot study. All right, so it can also, you can also do the piloting of the instrument during the waiting time. Just now you asked, what do I do during the waiting time, right? So you pilot your instrument during that time, and from the feedback of the respondent, you are going to refine your instrument. So that is the time to do that, right? So maybe in the defense, the examiner will ask you, have you piloted your instrument? Yes, I have, and this is the outcome. And I have refined my instrument based on the feedback from the pilot. You can do that. Or it doesn't matter, because this is a plan. If you don't have the time to pilot in the instrument, you just tell the examiner, I have not piloted my instrument. That's all. Okay? All right, next question.
And next question from Mehrash Vizul. Number one, let's say when we want to find a gap, how many studies need to be included in the literature metric?
Okay.
And how we would know the gap has not been done by other researcher?
Okay. Right. So that is a common question. How do I know that there is a gap? Right? Okay. So now that's why we sometimes it's also important for you to do a systematic review. Okay, systematic literature review. So once you have done a systematic literature review, you are actually taking in what other findings other researchers have done in that area. So systematic review will actually tell you who has done what, all right, recently or a few years back. Right? So with that literature review, systematic review, they will tell you the findings. All right? So from the findings of the literature, you know that things have been done in this part of the world. Things have been done in Malaysia. But in Malaysia, maybe in Sarawak, or maybe in Kelantan, but nothing, no research has been done. The same research has not been carried out in Gombak, for example. Then that is a new angle that you can look at. It doesn't have to be a totally a new, not a new gap is a gap. That when something is not done in Gombak, for example, that is your gap, right? You want to know why teachers in secondary schools in Gombak are emotionally stressed. Okay. So how do I know that? You have to do your own systematic review. All right. And be confident of it. Once you have done your systematic review and you know no new information is added, then you will know that there is a gap. Right. So what's the next question?
Okay, the next question from Nor Azwani. Doctor, what's the minimum percentage of similarities is acceptable by IIUM in turning in?
23%.
23%.
23%.
23%.
Hey, bukan 93. 23.
Yes, 23. Okay. Yeah. And then number two, how do we identify either the research that we intend to do is qualitative or quantitative?
Oh my God. Okay, that is okay. Right. How do you know whether it's quantitative or qualitative?
Yeah.
Okay. So whether you are looking at dissertation, a thesis, or a journal, there is a section in which it says the methodology part, the method section. Look at the method section. You will know that what kind of research design it is. All right. So maybe for you, some of you are totally new to research. That is understandable. I had that question also when I first started to do research, right? So how do we know this is quantitative or qualitative or mixed method? Look at the methodology section. Then it will say that this the research design is what. Okay, from there you will know. Okay. Any other question?
Yeah, we have 4 more. I'll try to do 2.
Okay.
For full-time coursework master student, how long should our proposal be?
30 pages.
And-
I said already. I mentioned that already.
Okay, yeah, maybe she just come in. And then do we undergo proposal defense as well?
No. For coursework, no proposal defense. Just you and your supervisor. That's all.
And the last one, what is the best time for these students to begin their research paper? SEM 1, SEM 2, or final SEM? And which method are the best?
What do you mean by research paper?
For coursework student, the research paper, I think what she means by research proposal.
What do you mean by research paper? Writing research paper or what? Publishing or what?
Start writing, Prof.
Waalaikumsalam.
When can we start writing our research proposal?
Oh, research proposal. Okay. So let's say you are a new student, right? When you came in, you have written a concept paper. Is that true?
Yes.
Yeah. That concept paper is just a formality for the university for the kuliah to assign you, or the faculty to assign you the correct or the correct supervisor. All right. That concept paper can be maintained, but then maybe here at the Kuliah of Education, we have the proposal approval, title approval. All right. So once your title can be amended or maybe refined. It all depends on your discussion with your supervisor. So once your title has been approved by the kuliah, you can start writing your proposal. But for the title approval, you can still use your concept paper. All right. Okay. So, but different kuliah will have like I said, different requirement. Sometimes for title approval, they need you to write the whole proposal, chapter 1 until chapter 3. Right? So, which means that once you have been accepted as a postgraduate student and you know who your supervisor is, you will have to start your proposal. And I know some students who are doing coursework. In the courses that you are doing, you will be needing to write a little research proposal depending on what course. I would suggest that when you do the different courses, stick to your title so that you are going to be doing the same title, whether it's quantitative, qualitative, because later on, once you have been exposed to qualitative and quantitative research methods, you know that which method suits you more, which method you are keen more, right? So that is when you will write your own research proposal before you can actually be assigned a supervisor. Because for those who are doing coursework, you are going to be assigned a supervisor at a later stage once you have finished your all the courses, right? But some students are very smart. Some students, they have identified who is going to be their supervisor at the very beginning. So they are actually working silently with that supervisor. If the supervisor approves, you cannot kind of insist. All right, you cannot insist that I want to appoint you as my supervisor, that we have to work. No, you cannot insist on that, because things can change. A lot of things can change. Maybe that supervisor has too many supervisees, or that supervisor cannot be supervising you because someone else, another academic is more knowledgeable on the topic that you want to do. All right. So what you can do is you can, at the very beginning, for those who are doing coursework, you can talk to your potential supervisor, talk to him or her about your potential topic, whether your proposed supervisor agrees. All right. So that is behind the scene. So you have to work smart in order for you to finish on time or finish early. All right. Okay. Any other question?
There's another one.
Yeah.
Prof, sorry, the similarity is 20%, including the reference or not including the reference?
Okay. So this is what you do. Okay. So once you want to put in 30 in, you have to throw away all the contents chapter. You know, all the contents chapter 1, 2, 3, 3. You start from your introduction, page 1. Start from page 1 until your conclusion. Throw away all your references because that will actually contribute to the similarity index. Understand? So once you put in the 30 in from page 1 until page, let's say 100 for PhD, don't include your references or your appendices. Okay? Throw them away for that time, at that time, so that it will not contribute to the increase of similarity index. Okay?
Okay, good. We answered that one. Okay. Ni Azlan asked, can we conduct preliminary study by interviewing few participants before proposal defense? Will there be any issue on the research ethics?
Okay. You can do preliminary interview, but my question is, are you going to write that in your plan, in your proposal? Whatever that you have in your proposal and something that you want to add, do not discuss during the defense. Okay? So if you want to do a preliminary interview, okay, and that has not been put in the proposal, you can use them later. Okay? Does that answer your question?
Yeah, is that answer the question, Mr. Ni Azlan?
Yes, doctor. Yes. Thank you.
Okay. Alhamdulillah.
Okay, so that's all for the question, Doctor.
Okay. If that, I want to do to add a little bit more. After you have done all this piloting the instrument, there are a few more things. For example, you are going to check the quality of your instrument by having this section on validity and reliability. And for those doing qualitative, you have your trustworthiness, confirmability, transferability. And most importantly is ethics. Okay, you are going to write a consent letter, put that in the appendix saying that your respondents agree to be interviewed, or things like that. Okay, so ensuring that the consent has been taken, the consent has been given to, or the consent has been given by your potential respondents. And then after that, you are also going to write about the, what else should we write there? Limitation and delimitation. No, limitation only, or either one. Okay? If you want to put it in you can either put it in chapter 1 or you can put it in chapter 3. Up to you. The limitation or delimitation. All right?
We do have another question coming in.
Yes.
From Nur Arifah Nar.
Okay, I'm going to stop sharing right now so that I can see you.
Let's see everyone.
Okay, right. Okay.
Okay,
Yes.
Assalamualaikum, Doctor. Can you help me to differentiate how to write literature review in concept paper with the literature review in the research proposal?
Okay, right. Normally a concept paper, we just want to to put there a literature, recent or previous works, right? Previous work that has been done in your research interest, correct? But in the proposal, again, like I said just now, in the proposal, you must show that you have read. So, what theory are you going to use based on your topic, based on your problem statement, or based on your ROs and RQs? So that is why in the research proposal, in the literature review, you have to have the theoretical framework. Okay, so don't worry. What is theoretical framework? What is? I know it's not easy because you are only starting. Don't worry. I only, when I did my PhD, I put a little theory when I did my master, but in PhD, it took me like 1 year or so to understand what is theoretical framework. Okay, so you can put a theory there. To that theory can also, you can get from the literature that you have read. They also have maybe they have also mentioned theories that they have used. Maybe that theory can also be used by you, or the theory is not suitable. Then you are going to combine a few theories, for example, so to be added in your literature review in your proposal. Okay? Okay, any other question?
We do not have yet, so we can resume. Is there any question from the audience? Ada yang if you want to ask directly, or just to ask things like that you have in mind?
Okay, right. So normally the gap here it says, so that can be a gap if you want to add to the theory. Okay, so now theory can be many things. So normally we don't find the gap from the theory. Okay, we can get the gap from the findings of other people's research. All right, but we can use theory to actually fulfill the gap or to bridge the gap. You can use that theory. Nobody has used this theory in this in the same research, for example. So I am going to use this theory so that whether or not your findings will be the same or will be different by using a different theory. That can also be done, yeah? So to answer your question, it can be. It can be. All right. Any other question?
Not for now, Doctor.
Okay. Right. Okay. So I think we have completed the first 3 chapters. Maybe I have, let me see. Let me just check again. Give me 1 or 2 seconds. Let me check chapter. Okay, authenticity. Authenticity of your research. So it refers to the degree, I'm reading here, which researchers honestly and accurately demonstrate a spectrum of possible realities. Okay. Authenticity is why your research is, how is your research authentic? It's real. Okay, this is not like something that is so idealistic, right? Authenticity is authentic. It can be done. It can be followed through, worked out. So that to identify the authenticity of your research. Okay, what else should I add? Okay, I have done how to to ensure credibility of your research. Yes. Right. Ethical consideration also, just now. Ethical consideration, your informed consent, to write a letter or to give a letter to your respondents. What else? Oh yeah. In chapter 3, I have not mentioned about your data analysis. What kind of data analysis are you going to be doing? Very important. Luckily. Okay, what data analysis are you proposing? Right? Okay, I will attend to your question, Azza, in a bit. Okay, so let's say you are doing qualitative inquiry. Yeah? So what will be the data analysis that you can do? You can do content analysis, you can do thematic analysis, you can do conversation analysis, and so on and so forth. All depends on your study. All right. So for those who are doing quantitative, it all depends. Quantitative, you can do your the normal statistical analysis. What kind, or maybe you want to use any software for your analysis. You have to mention in one section, maybe before ensuring quality, you want to write data analysis. What kind of analysis? How you are going to conduct your data analysis. Very important. Sorry about that. I did not put it in my slide. Okay. All right. So I'm going to now answer Azza's question. What are some of the most frequently asked questions during proposal defense? Okay. So this one is actually depending on how comprehensive or incomprehensive your proposal is. Sometimes it's a lot, but something is not clear. Whether your research question, normally it's very, very normal for the examiners to go on to look at your research question. So for example, research question 1, how is your research question related to your problem statement? It must be related. You have a problem, that problem is actually from the problem you are going to create, or you are going to construct your research question. And that research question, how is it going to be answered? If you are doing qualitative as inquiry or quantitative, what are the type of questions that actually suit qualitative and quantitative or mixed method? So that one you have to discuss. So normally in proposal defense, they will attack your RQ first. Okay, that one very important. So you have to have a very strong ROs and RQs, and from the ROs and RQs, let's say research question 1 will be answered via what instrument? That one, that table you have to have. You have to have that table. Research question 1 will be answered via questionnaire. And then go on to research question 2. How will it be answered? Through interview or through observation and whatnot. Okay? So that it is clear. So that is the first, I think, attack. I think probably the very first will be problem statement. Your problem statement can be unclear, vague, and all that, and then it goes on to your RQs. And then normally, chapter 2 literature review, I don't think there will be a lot of questions. Probably the examiners themselves, they are not quite sure about the theory that you are going to use. So that's why chapter 2 is the least asked question, and then it goes on to your research design. So that research design, the methodology is the most favorite question. So that's why you have to have a very clear flow of your data collection procedure and your instrumentation and your sampling and what else? Data analysis. Okay, once that is clear, there is no ground for the examiner to ask you why are you the examiner will not ask you maybe why don't you do quantitative why don't you do quantitative and why are you doing qualitative? You have to have that answer. Why you are choosing a design, justify. So that's why in chapter 3, under the research design, you have to justify why you have chosen that particular design, so that you won't be asked again. All right? Okay. So those are most, I think, one of the many favorite question. But it all depends. It all depends on your research proposal. Okay. Do I have any other question?
Let me see. Love that we have a lot of questions today. Okay, another question from Brother Maharaj again. Prof, can we combine HLSTI and manual method in analyzing the data, or we have limited time? Is it better to use HLSTI to analyze data? Oh, sister, sorry.
Okay.
Sister Mira.
If you know how to use Atlas TI, then use Atlas TI. It saves you a lot of time. Okay, rather than doing manually. Doing manually takes a lot of your time. Once you have used Atlas TI, you don't have to do it manually, because Atlas TI is one of the software that I think that is reliable. It helps whether you are doing quantitative or qualitative. It helps in your literature review. It also helps in your data analysis. It also tells you the network. How many theory is considered sufficient? I cannot say that. I cannot tell you how many theory, because one theory is big, right? So it depends on what theory you are going to use. So if you use many theory, you are prone to be asked, what is this theory? How is it related to your RQ? What is this theory? How have you combined all this theory? Okay, so and I'm sure when you discuss with your supervisor will not recommend you to use too many theories, because it will only confuse you and confuse the examiners. But then if you the normal ones will be one or two, the most three. Okay, I don't know why people want to use 3 theories, but if it's totally absolutely needed, then you can use. But don't use too many theories, because theories can actually confuse people, right? But you have to have theory. Okay.
Doctor, I do have a question.
Yes.
Because I'm doing master study, and what is the difference between the half of the research level when you look at that this is a PhD level and this is a master level? What's the difference between these
two? Let's say you are doing master's degree by directed research, and you're doing master's degree by full research, and then PhD. All right. So you are doing the coursework for a reason, because you think that I need to learn a lot of things that I have not. Normally, those who are taking coursework, either they have just completed their undergraduate studies. They're still in the momentum that they can take in a lot more courses, and you have time, right? You have time. Then you take, and then you think that you do not want to spare a lot of time to do your dissertation. Okay, fine. Okay, for those who are doing masters by research only. Okay, one thing for sure that I have asked so many students who did their masters by research, because they have one intention. They want to move forward. They want to do their PhD. They want to be master in their own research interests. Okay, they want to be the person or the point of reference, so that once you have done your masters by research, you can take the research that you're done and expand it to a PhD proposal. Okay, so that is why many students who have done by research only, masters by research, they have the intention to do a PhD in future. All right, and of course, it doesn't mean that those who are doing by coursework don't have intention. They too have intention. Probably they want to do it in future, right? In future, but probably not so near future. Okay, so I know that those who have done masters by research only, they want to do PhD straight away. A lot of them have done that. And then what is the difference between by research proposal and PhD? Okay, let me tell you this. Okay, for those who are doing full research by full research, if your research, if your proposal is actually comprehensive, you can convert that to a PhD proposal. Do you know that? You can actually what is the word they use? You can actually I can't remember the word they use it. Not extend, not promote. You can actually what
I
is the
have no
word for it?
idea.
Transfer? Yes, fast track.
Fast
That is a
track.
fast track. Okay. For example, let's say you are given a scholarship by Kementerian Pendidikan. I don't know about those who have the scholarship. Probably it's not wise because they have given you scholarship for masters. You can go back to your those who are, to the person who have the organization who have given you scholarship. What if your proposal can be not transferred again? I have lost that word. Can be actually not transferred. It can be
promoted.
not promoted. It can be, oh my God, I've lost that word. Never mind. It can be actually,
Updated.
I cannot say switch also, but never mind.
No.
You can do a fast track, meaning it is good that it can actually be taken in as a PhD research proposal. But in order for you to fulfill that, you have to, once you have defended, your defense committee, they agree that your proposal is good, and then you have passed the proposal defense, then you can apply to a postgraduate office for a fast track. Okay, to promote you, not promote. I cannot say the word promote. It's not right. To actually, they are going to switch. Never mind. You can apply for the fast track, which means that defense can actually be a defense for a PhD. Okay. All right.
Apply for a conversion. It's not conversion,
Yes, conversion. That's the word, conversion.
Conversion. Okay.
Why did I not think about conversion? All right. Okay. To convert your proposal, MAT proposal to a PhD proposal. And actually, one of my students now is on her way to do that. Okay, a full research master student is waiting for her defense, and after defense, it all depends on the result of the defense, and after that, she is going to apply for a fast track. Okay, so it's good. All right, any other question? Okay, let me see.
Any other question? We are actually 10:48, almost reaching 11.
Okay, do you have any other question? But I think CAPSA will have to be more proactive in organizing workshops like this. I think it will help a lot of students, especially the new students, and also get our alumni to give a talk on the process, or the journey, your journey into finishing your thesis and all that.
Yeah,
okay?
inshallah. And in the meantime, everyone, can you please fill in the feedback form so that everything that Dr. Faizah has mentioned just now, the program that you want to have, the concern of yours, maybe we can have that in terms of like implementing or organizing the support group, the program that will support your PhD or your postgraduate study, inshallah. And yeah, we are actually nearing the end of the session. So any other question, or do you think
Okay,
that
last question if you have.
any random one, if you have, like, simply want to ask thing. Doctor, can you like please share with us what was the. Do you still remember the first time you had your experience doing the research, whether it's PhD or master? Is there any memorable moment that you still fond of the thing that you want to share with us?
Everything is memorable to me. The hardship,
Yeah.
I would not say my journey probably is different. Okay, Fida, I will share my slide with you. I will give it to Atika. Don't worry about the slide. I'll give it to Atika. So going back to when my journey is totally different because I was abroad. I was in the UK with my family, and with a very supportive husband. And my husband is here. He's but then if you say if I want to say I had sleepless night, no. I'm telling you honestly, every night I will sleep at 10. That's my pattern. I cannot have sleepless night. Why? Because I cannot function in the morning if I sleep late. Right? But I work from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. 9 a.m. to, because I was a full-time student. I work from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. non-stop. I only stop when I had my coffee, a little chat in the corner with a friend, and that's all. Okay? Whether it's summer, it's winter, it's spring,
It's always
3
that.
years, just that. Okay?
Inshallah.
But of course, inshallah, your journey is totally different than mine. No two person will have the same journey in postgraduate. So you cannot compare your journey with the others. Right? Nobody knows what you are going through. Right?
True.
So you can have a pacer. You know what I mean by pacer? You can have one person to be a pacer. Pacer means, oh, that person is now there. That person is now here. You can take that person as a pacer so that you are on track. But do not compare that person's journey to yours. Your journey is totally different. You have different challenges. That person will have different challenges as well. So what you can do is get a person to be a pacer. A pacer is somebody who you have your timeline, but then sometimes timeline is not sufficient. You want to look at a friend who has enrolled the same time as yours and see whether that person is you are on track. That person is now is submitting the proposal for defense. So you must do so also within the time frame. Okay, so that is why we call it a pacer. But then, do not at any point at any time saying that I don't think I'm worth doing postgraduate. No. Everyone has their own way of doing. Don't give up. Talk to people. Get someone to talk to you. Don't give, unless it's totally unavoidable. Then maybe you want to talk to people first, right? You want to talk to someone first before giving up. But don't give up. Okay, don't give up at all. All right, so thank you very much for
the last one.
Okay.
From me, because as you mentioned that the journey itself, I was always told that a postgraduate journey, especially for doing research, is a lonely journey. But what is your opinion about that?
No, to me it's not. If you say postgraduate study is a lonely journey, that was 20 years ago when they don't have internet. Okay, they don't have internet. They only go to the library and look at books and journals physically. That is a lonely journey, absolutely. But you are not. This is one of the reason why you are here. You are talking to someone. You are talking to people online. That isn't lonely. You can always communicate, even though you are not talking, but you are listening. That isn't lonely. Right? And then, of course, with the technology, you can always connect with people from different parts of the world. All right. Be active in finding something like this. We have a lot of postgraduate association outside who opens their membership to people from around the world. Why not? It's not. So if someone says that PhD or master's is degree is a lonely journey, that person is, I think, still stuck in the 1980s or in 1970s. I think. Yeah.
Cool.
Right.
That's a cool answer. Thank you so much, Doctor.
All right.
Okay. Let's be indigenous together. Inshallah. Inshallah.
All
That's
right.
why we have
Thank you so much for listening to me. Inshallah, if you want a bit more, sessions with me, I also do language and academic writing. I also do qualitative research. If you want, and then Kepsa can also invite me later on, inshallah, for you guys. Okay.
Inshallah. For you guys. Thank you for all the love, for all the questions, for all the. I think we all feel so supported, even though with the hackers this morning, all the hiccups and challenges, and we enjoy our session so much. It was so lively because of you,
Alhamdulillah.
and because of you, Dr. Faizah. So.
I hope it's useful in a way.
And I love this. I enjoy it so much, and
Okay.
I believe everyone is so. And with that, please, everyone, before we end the session, I would like to remind everyone to actually fill in the feedback form in the chat box, because we are going to actually look through your suggestion, what your feedback is, how's your opinion of this program. This is like the new program for this semester. We're also going to share the recording link for this session, the slides from Dr. Faizah. And that is for today, inshallah. Alhamdulillah. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. We have officially now come to the end of this Writing a Research Proposal program. We would like to express our utmost gratitude to all participants. You are just the coolest people ever, and everyone involved in this program are just awesome. We do apologize for any shortcoming that we have experienced today, which is an interesting experience. It is hoped that all of us has had a good time and gain a beneficial knowledge, inshallah. And before we adjourn, I would like to have all your cooperation, all of you, to turn on your camera to have our virtual photography session. Just a memento for us to remember of this special event we have today. Okay. In a second, I'm going to turn on the camera and I'm going to take this too. All right. Okay, everyone. Hang on a second. Let me see. Macam mana nak buat kotaknya? Layout. Okay. All right. Everyone with the camera. Smile. 1, 2, 3. One more time. 1, 2, 3. Okay, cool. All right.
Fida, what happened just now? The hackers and all.
I think sebab ada seorang tu yang pelik, and then he invited others also, and then tak sempat nak reject, dia macam keluar and then masuk dia kena laju.
You cannot actually block him.
Once we remove him, he can enter after that.
Okay. All right.
Thank you, Fida.
Okay, thank you guys. Assalamualaikum.
Assalamualaikum and have a good day. Bye.
Waalaikumsalam.